Welcome back to the HaasOnline training series. In this session, we're going to take a quick look at the bot analyzer. Now, the bot analyzer is one of the coolest features in the HaasOnline software suite, and it allows us to not only just look at the bots and the trades they execute, but actually analyze their performance, see exactly where they place their trades on a chart, as well as see how the profit, fees, and the actual gains were affected during the time. This not only allows us to see how our bot's trading, but also improve and find areas where our bots get stuck. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. Now, first thing we have to do is go ahead and log into the software. Now, the bot analyzer is obviously in the newer versions of the HaasOnline software. So if you haven't updated in a while, you definitely need to update to be able to see this. Now, there's a few prerequisites in order to use the bot analyzer. Obviously, first we have to have the bot with some data. So here we create a simple ping pong bot that we ran a 1 week back test. Now this is very impressive for that amount of time, but you know, simulations and hindsight's 2020. So let's go ahead. So on the far left, go ahead and click the bot performance analyzer under trade bots. And if you have multiple bots, you actually have to come down here and select it. But like me, I only have one bot, so it's automatically selected. Now let's go over what you'll see real quick. On the left, you have the actual information. This is things to run additional back tests, see the trades, see revenue, profit, so on and so forth. Right here in the center, we actually have a chart that will show us buy and sell areas. It's important to note that white dots indicate buy orders and blue dots indicate sell orders. So where the bot buy, where the bot sold. Down here, we actually have a revenue chart. We have our profit, our fee, and our gain. So where exactly are we in terms of making money? Now, obviously, we want profit here. So let's go ahead. So the first thing we want to do is let's click charts. If we look here, we have our bot chart interval. This is the time frame we want to actually look at the chart. Now, by default, it's set to 1 minute, which unless you're trading on 1 minute time frames, this isn't exactly useful. So let's go ahead and change this to the 15 minute. That way we get more information. And here we can actually see where the bot was buying and selling across the time frame. Next, we can change the view, whether we want it to be vertical like it is or horizontal. We're going to go ahead and leave this alone. We can select to see the volume chart or the revenue chart, and as well as load price chart. So we can actually disable this completely. The next thing we can do is we actually jump to a date. So if we select a specific time and date we want to look at, we can go ahead and click that. Next, if we click bot, we have the bot information as well as the ability to run additional back tests from the bot performance analyzer. Now, obviously, it's important to note if you have a live bot, you do not want to run back test on it because then the data will get overwritten and the bot's position will get messed up. So generally keep in mind if you're running back tests in a simulated bot, that's great, but do not touch live bots with the back testing. Next, if we click revenue, we can actually see what our profit, gain, and fee costs were. So we had a decent amount of profit. Then this was our fee cost. Now, obviously, this is a 0.25% fee for Bittrex. This will change depending on which exchange and what values you have set. And then the gain, how much did we actually make from this? Past that, we see how much we were trading. And then what our return on investment was, whether it be percentage for the total time frame the bot's been alive as well, or per day. So we can see this bot was doing exceptionally well at 4% return per day and 27%. I assume this was a week back test. Now, obviously, we can switch this to see between the two different sides. So if we were trying to gain more ARC, how many ARC did we gain over time? How many BTC? Next, if we click trades, we can actually see how many trades were executed, what the average gain was per trade, what the best gain was per trade, and then the worst gain. So we can see quite a bit of useful information about our bots here. The next thing we have, if we scroll down, we have winning trades. How many winning trades did we have? What was the average profit? What was the best profit? How much did we win in total? And what was the max amount? How many gains or how many wins did we have over time before we had our first loss? So this is saying we had 20 trades that were winning trades before we had a single losing trade. Next, we have how many losing trades did we have? Well, it says we had 7. No bot's perfect. How much did we lose on average per trade? What was our total worst loss? So our worst loss was 0.01. What our total loss was for all losing trades, and then how many losing trades did we have in a row? So in this case, we only had 1 losing trade. Next, we have our buy orders. So we have 65 X worth of buy orders. So we put 65 orders for buying and 65 orders for selling. Average time was between an hour before our bought price and an hour before our sold price. And that's really it. Very simple to use. Something I think everybody should be using if they're using our software. You need to look at how your bots are performing. You need to make sure to test them and fine tune them. The only way a bot makes you money is if you put the time and effort into analyzing the data, seeing where things went wrong, and trying to change it. Now, obviously, this isn't doable on bots that have a minimum amount of settings or built-in strategies. So, for example, Scalper, the best you can do is modify the percentage. Ping pong, there really isn't much you can do. So, it's just something to keep in mind when we're looking at our bots. Hopefully that was useful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below. And as always, if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And if you have any more questions and you'd like some real-time response, join our Discord. There's a lot of people in there now. It's a lot of conversations, so I hope to see you there. Until next time.